On August 29, 1949, the Soviet Union successfully tested the RDS at the Semipalatinsk test site, and naturally became the second country in the world to possess nuclear weapons. It lost the monopoly on the production of mass destruction weapons, and at the same time faced a new threat. The US Air Force secretly prepared a scenario to attack the Soviet Union with nuclear weapons as a preemptive strike. To cope with these potential war risks, Moscow hurriedly developed a retaliatory nuclear system, including various military weapons built on land, in the air, and at sea, called Perimeter. The US and Europe referred to it with the nickname Dead Hand. So what secrets does this system conceal? Can it launch a nuclear retaliation, even if the leadership of Russia is entirely wiped out, as rumors suggest? First, we need to understand what nuclear weapons are. Nuclear weapons are a type of mass destruction weapon whose energy is generated by nuclear fission reactions, or nuclear fusion reactions. Nuclear weapons have a destructive power equivalent to 30,000 to 300,000 tons of TNT and can completely destroy a city. They were first used in the late stages of World War II, when the US dropped 2 atomic bombs on the cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan, causing casualties of over 200,000 people. Perimeter can also be understood as a nuclear weapon. It is connected to the alternative communication network of Russia's strategic nuclear forces. It is a secret and reliable system that cannot be disabled. It is a fully automated complex, used to control a massive nuclear attack. It includes missile systems on warships, submarines, and underground bunkers designed by the Soviet Union during the Cold War, as a final defense measure against invaders. It is designed to ensure that, even if the brain's central agencies are destroyed by the first strike, Russia still has the ability to carry out retaliatory strikes to cause the opponent's destruction as well. To put it simply, you can understand that if Russia's territory is devastated immediately after a nuclear attack, the perimeter system will almost immediately autonomously launch retaliatory attacks on the enemy's territory using similar nuclear missiles. It is for this reason that it is referred to as Dead Hand by the Western media and officials. So what makes this system so frightening that it is associated with the words deadly and hand? One of the first mysteries comes from its formation. In the 1940s to 1990s, the peak of the Cold War, due to fears of a preemptive nuclear attack from the US, Soviet leadership requested the development of a new command system to ensure that retaliatory strikes could still be carried out in case the communication lines of the Strategic Missile Forces Command were destroyed. At that time, controlling the command of the country's strategic missile forces was still done through a nuclear football. However, the drawback of this method was that it still required the Supreme Commander's order. So, on August 30th, 1974, Decree number 695,227 from the Soviet Supreme Leadership was assigned to the Design Bureau of Laboratory number 11, with the mission to design the nuclear counterattack system named Perimeter. The design and construction of this system were kept completely top secret, making it seem mysteriously enigmatic, even to some Soviet leaders. as well as intelligence officials from Western countries at that time. With the mysteries surrounding its formation and inception, the functionality and operation of this system seem difficult to be fully documented. Initially, Soviet scientists applied data exchange measures to ensure that the control command would reliably reach every launch site. Later, they came up with the idea of using intercontinental ballistic missiles equipped with powerful radio transmitters, acting as information transmission channels to the nuclear weapon launch sites. The OR-100 intercontinental ballistic missile, known as Saker by NATO, is the core of this system. Instead of flying straight to the target like previous strategic missile systems, Perimeter will deploy a ballistic missile equipped with a transmission system flying across the Soviet sky, sending launch commands to all missiles placed in underground silos, aircraft, warships, and ground launchers. These missiles will be placed in a newly constructed bunker, capable of withstanding a direct nuclear attack. They are pre-programmed with flight coordinates and radio signals that they will transmit to the missiles during flight. According to 5S Unfiltered's research, in addition to the guiding RS-20 missiles, or the R-36 missile series and its variants, will be the priority choices and mainly placed in underground silos, submarines, and the country's nuclear defense system. In the event that high-ranking Soviet leaders receive information from the early warning system that another country has launched missiles at the Soviet Union, Perimeter will also be activated during the alert phase. Then, if it does not receive a cancellation order within a certain period, the missiles will be launched. This eliminates the human factor and ensures nuclear retaliation strikes, even if the missile control teams are completely eliminated. I'm sure you might be wondering, what would happen if such a modern automated system were to conduct uncontrolled launches, right? Don't worry, to ensure no uncontrolled launches occur. Before launching, Perimeter checks parameters sent to the command center from 4 channels. Information from electronic space conversations, information about radiation fields and other radiation sources at control points, information from the early warning system about missile launches, and finally, seismic data analysis. After synthesizing information from the 4 channels, the electronic brain of the system draws conclusions about a large-scale nuclear attack. Being built on advanced artificial intelligence and computer science, the question arises here: can dead hand be damaged by cyber attacks? Soviet experts have asserted that Perimeter is securely protected against natural disasters, ordinary destructive actions, and is resistant to both the threat and the possibility of cyber attacks at the lowest level. During active combat readiness on the vast territory of the Soviet Union, Perimeter's command centers regularly monitor natural factors, seismic activity, and radiation, while also tracking missile warning system data, blocking communications on frequencies used by the adversary. After detecting signs of a nuclear attack, the system reports to the General Staff. In the event of any signs, the checking system continues its evaluation of any communication systems still connected to the General Staff. If the military's brain maintains communication, Perimeter will automatically cut off. And if the General Staff shows no reaction, Perimeter will send a request to the Strategic Missile Force Command. The pair of nuclear warheads in the hands of the General Secretary of the Soviet Union. If there is no feedback from Zhuzhe, The control system will allow any commander in the nuclear missile silo to make a decision. Finally, if there is no response from these agencies, meaning the ground command centers have also been destroyed, Perimeter's electronic brain will decide to launch a retaliatory nuclear attack, because it recognizes that it's time to launch a devastating counterattack. The Perimeter system will automatically launch a series of controlled ballistic missiles. They will signal directly to missile launchers, submarines, and other surviving nuclear facilities to prepare for a retaliatory strike. At this stage, human involvement is entirely unnecessary. The development of these missiles was initiated in the mid-1970s. By the end of this decade, prototypes were deployed for military testing. The initial tests revealed that the missile could cover a range of 4,500 kilometers. At an altitude of 4,000 meters, it could successfully transmit wireless signals to other objects during its flight. Over the next 5 years, the military command conducted combat tests to determine if the new weapon could effectively open a silo or underground launching facility, and if it could deliver the country's most powerful nuclear missile to a designated location. By November 1984, the command missile Yor-100 carried a warhead, sending signals from polos and receiving launch orders from an RS-20 intercontinental ballistic missile silo at Baikonur Cosmodrome, the Soviet spaceport. This RS-20 warhead was launched and targeted the Kura testing range on the Kamchatka Peninsula. This new type of weapon demonstrated its capability to traverse the entire territory of the Soviet Union, while simultaneously issuing operational commands to other intercontinental ballistic missiles. However, it wasn't until January 1985 that Perimeter was officially incorporated into the Soviet strategic nuclear deterrent. 5 years later, the system underwent upgrades and modernization under the code name Perimeter DRC. But perhaps discussing only the mysteries surrounding its formation, functionality, and operation is insufficient, as the locations of the command centers for this system are also enigmatic. It wasn't until 1992 that the US government and the West became aware of the existence of a secret underground facility located in the Kushk-Shirvani mountain region deep within the Ural Mountains, approximately 1,368 kilometers east of Moscow. U.S. intelligence and military officials that this is a site for the development and production of nuclear weapons, as well as the implementation of various other military programs to avoid detection from Washington's surveillance satellites. The Pentagon also believes that the facility serves as a command and control center for Russia's nuclear weapons. Intercontinental ballistic missiles are concealed capable of autonomous operation or remote control, ready to respond in the event of a nuclear war. In 1997, the CIA issued a report stating that in 1996, President Yeltsin issued 3 emergency response directives for monitoring the construction of underground facilities to maintain a leadership role in the event of a nuclear war. According to this report, satellite images of the Himalayan mountains near the town of Belarus in the Ural Mountains reveal the construction of a deeply buried underground complex and construction activities in 2 support areas on the surface. The CIA identified an underground fortress once used by Russian leaders in Voronovo, a location 46 miles south of Moscow. A second underground fortress in Sarapogo, approximately 84 kilometers from Moscow, equipped with a specially designed underground electric train directly to it. All secret fortresses and special cities in Russia are under the control of the Russian Federal Security Service, FSB, and the Special Presidential Cover Directorate of Russia. So there is limited information about these locations. Occasionally, information is leaked to the media about this underground fortress system, mainly from declassified files of the Soviet intelligence agency, KGB. As per 5S Unfiltered's knowledge, having existed for decades and continuously improved, supplemented, and developed. The Dead Hand system now not only includes simple missiles, but also radars along the territory of Russia, and satellites collecting information from space. This is a sophisticated computer system constantly analyzing a series of parameters, such as seismic activity, radiation levels, as well as monitoring data from the missile warning system placed along the territory. Major scale modifications have also been carried out over many operational years. First, Russia integrated its new over-the-horizon radar intelligence assets, such as the Voronezh-class radar, capable of detecting missile launches up to 7,000 kilometers away. Then engineers modified its warhead to counter new electronic warfare assets, capable of jamming wireless signals. Mr. Ivan Konovalov, the director in charge of development at the 21st Century Technology Advancement Foundation, said, according to sources from Russia, Dead Hand is on the list to receive hypersonic missile blocks capable of moving at speeds of 5 to 7 kilometers per second. The new missiles will be deployed in the military alongside the new Sarmat-class ICBMs. Despite continuous improvements, developments, and being a proud deterrent of the Soviet Union. However, in the summer of 1995, under the pressure of the START I Treaty, Russia had to cease combat readiness with the perimeter system. Unfortunately, the United States and their allies did not correctly assess the goodwill gestures of the Russian leadership. The US and NATO continued their eastward expansion, adding more Eastern European members and former Soviet countries surrounding Russia, building additional military bases, strengthening heavy weapons to these countries, tightening the encirclement around Russia. Certainly, Moscow will never stay still for Washington's desire to strike or kill as it pleases. In December 2011, the commander of Russia's strategic missile forces, General Sergei Karakayev, announced that the perimeter system was once again put on combat readiness. However, although carrying a terrifying concept, it is perimeter itself, not missile defense systems, space defense systems, that has contributed to reducing the risk of nuclear war. It is an acceptable and ethical solution to prevent nuclear war. The existence of this system forces Western leaders to seriously reconsider and hesitate before contemplating a nuclear attack on Russia. Because they understand that a nuclear attack on Russia would lead to a situation where both sides suffer heavily. So, that concludes the journey of decoding the mysteries of the perimeter system. It can be said that to this day, this system still plays a crucial role in Russia's strategic defense belt to ensure its nuclear retaliation capability, especially in the current tense situation due to Ukraine and recent Western countries. It also embodies as one of the quintessences showcasing the scientific and military engineering prowess of the Soviet Union. So, with such mysteries and formidable power, do you think Dead Hand Perimeter is truly perfect to withstand a nuclear attack? And possess a deterrent force to maintain stability for Russia against the United States and Western countries? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share the video, and subscribe to the channel to stay tuned for the latest videos from 5S Unfiltered.